Hi everyone, this is Mr. Axelrad again. I'm here today to talk to you about the final essay that you all are going to write for this class for the summer. I just want to say thank you to all of you who have been working hard on your essays and submitting them on time. I know it's been a lot of work, but I've been very impressed by what you all have been turning in, and it will go a long way to helping you down the road, getting all this practice in. I've also want to let you know that I have been grading these essays on the tougher side. I'm doing that to sort of show you, all of you where you're at so far with these essays, and so that I can see sort of a baseline of where you all are at, so that I can see the kind of work we need to do to get you all writing at the level that you need to be as successful as possible with the AP test once we're in the spring. Today, though, I'm just going to go through with you the final essay that you're going to write, and then I will let you write it. So, the due date for this essay is next Tuesday, July 19th at 11:59 p.m. on Google Classroom. Again, the suggested time for this is 40 minutes, just like for the other essays. Now, this essay is a little bit different than the other two essays because it's more open-ended, meaning that you are going to be taking evidence from your own life and from your own experience in the world. However, you're still going to be following the basic 5-paragraph essay structure that you did for the synthesis essay and for the analytical essay. Now, what this essay, the persuasive essay, does is it gives you directions, and then it gives you a short paragraph, and you need to argue for a position based on the paragraph. So let's just walk through it. So here are the directions. The following passage is adapted from Mirror for Man, a book written by anthropologist Clyde Cluckhorn in the middle of the 20th century. Read the passage carefully. Then, write an essay that examines the extent to which the author's characterization of the United States holds true today. Use appropriate evidence to support your argument. Now this part is key, where it says use appropriate evidence to support your argument. The evidence you choose can come from your own life, or things you've learned in history class, or English class, or science class, or math, or anything like that. So now, let's read the actual passage. Technology is valued as the very basis of the capitalistic system. Possessions of gadgets is esteemed as a mark of success to the extent that persons are judged not by the integrity of their characters or by the originality of their minds, but by what they seem to be, so far as can be measured by the salaries they earn or by the variety of material goods which they display. Success is measured by the automobiles they drive, not by their number of mistresses as in some cultures. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to look for what the author's characterization is, because what it's asking you to do is to write what this essay is asking you to do is to write an essay that examines the extent to which the author's characterization of the United States holds true today. So the way I rewrote the author's characterization in simpler terms was, the United States is a materialistic society, and success is measured by the amount of money and material possessions someone has. So your task now is to write an argumentative essay basically saying how this statement either does or does not apply to the United States today. One thing that I want to point out is that this statement up here that you're responding to talks very broadly about the United States. However, when you're responding in your essay, you want to try to be more specific, because it's very hard to make a well-reasoned, well-argued essay that talks about all of the United States in just a few short paragraphs and in only 40 minutes. So what you want to try to do is you want to try to respond by applying the author's statement to something more specific. So I'm going to walk you through how I did this by applying it to a more specific thing. And I'm going to show you evidence in favor of the author's characterization and evidence against the author's characterization and my thesis statements for both. So this is something that you should do when you are writing these essays. You want to try to think of what evidence can you think of in favor of the author's statement, and what evidence can you think of against the author's statement, and then you want to try to see which ones you most agree with, and then use those to write your essay. So let's say I want to apply what the author is saying about America to high school in today's world. And because you all are high school students, you all have good background knowledge in this topic and could yourselves write a well-reasoned argument applying the author's statement to high school, since you all have first-hand experience in high school. So here are the three different things that I thought of that could be reasons to argue for why the author's characterization of the United States applies to high school in America today. My first reason is that in order for students to be successful in today's world, they need to be skilled with the newest and most advanced technologies. Meaning that in order for students to end up being successful in the world, they need to know how to use and have access to technology. My second reason, again applying the author's statement about America to high school, is that the schools that do the best and have the highest test scores are the ones that have the fanciest facilities and the most access to technology, such as computers, for their students. And my last reason for why the author's statement applies to high school today is looking at the social aspect of high school. I write that in high school, the most popular and well-liked kids who have the most influence on other kids are the ones who have the fanciest gadgets and the fanciest clothes. Now, if I was going to turn that into a thesis statement, I would write, Clyde Cluckhorn's assessment of the United States holds true for high school students today because students' success in the real world will be determined by their access to technology in school. The best performing schools are the ones with the greatest access to technology, and the students with the most friends are the ones with the nicest clothes and the fanciest gadgets. That's my thesis statement, and then I'm going to have 3 body paragraphs that argue for each aspect of my thesis. And again, you're pulling argument, and you're supporting your thesis statement with things that you've observed in your own real life and things you may have learned about in your other classes or seen in the world. Here's my evidence against the author's characterization of America, again applying it to high school. My first reason is that students do not necessarily need technology to be successful in today's world. Rather, they most need to follow their hearts and do what they are most passionate about in order to have the best impact on the world. A good school is not defined by the quality of its facilities or the amount of technology it has at its disposal. Rather, a good school needs 2 things: teachers who are passionate and knowledgeable about what they are teaching, and motivated students who are determined to succeed. And my third reason is personal experience has shown me that in order to be respected in school, you need to just be yourself. Having fancy gadgets and clothes may make others envious of you, but it will not make them want to respect or be friends with you. And then here's my thesis statement. Clyde Cluckhorn's assessment of the United States does not hold true for the United States today when examining a modern American high school. A successful school is not determined by the quality of its facilities or its access to technology. While these things may help, a student succeeds in school through her own motivation, the passion of her teachers, and by being true to herself. And then I would have body paragraphs that explain each of these and use evidence from my own personal experience, as well as things I learned about in my other classes and my own other experience in the world. One other good thing to do to get in the habit of, and you should also be thinking about this for all of your essays, is to try to provide counter-arguments. So for example, if you're authoring in favor of the author's characterization, you might want to provide a counter-argument from the other side and try to prove why that other side is wrong. Or you can do the same thing over here. If you're arguing against the author's characterization, you might also want to provide a counter-argument from the opposing side and try to prove why the opposing side is wrong. One really good way to prove why your point is correct is to show why the other side is incorrect. But that is really it for this essay. Again, there's some more explanation down here about how to go ahead and try to answer this essay question. And again, you're just like the other essays. You're writing this essay, giving it your best shot without much direct instruction from me. I want to see how you all approach these essays with having had very little direct instruction, so that I can see where you all are working at, and that I can begin to tailor my instruction to meet your needs once we're back in the classroom in the fall. In addition, I'm also posting to you some more tips for the persuasive essay that you could read through. There's some really good tips in this document that give you more advice about the persuasive essay. But really, for this first time around, try to go in, write the essay the best you possibly can, and give it just try to give it your best shot. Like I mentioned before, I've been very impressed by what you all have been doing so far, and I think you all are starting at a really good spot to be coming into this class. I think a lot of you have a very strong foundation in the 5-paragraph essay that you learned in middle school and you practiced in 9th grade and in 10th grade. We've got work to do, but I'm excited to work with you all to help you the best that I can to improve your writing skills, to try to help you do as best you possibly can on the AP Language exam. Again, thank you all of you for your hard work. I appreciate it. You all are working incredibly hard this summer, and I think it will really pay off once you're back in the classroom in the fall. Thanks so much, and as always, please let me know if you have any questions about these assignments. Thank you.